Dr. Alan Donkin from Euthanasia Exposed submitted an affidavit challenging that application in court. He joins us now via Skype to tell us more. Dr. Donkin, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time this evening. What were your objections to the ruling which you included in your affidavit?
Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share my thoughts. It's a real privilege for me. I did submit one of the affidavits opposing the Strachan-Ford application, and I guess the real crux of my thoughts in my affidavit were a request to think a little bit more about the meaning of the word dignity. Some of the things that Strachan-Ford had said in his application, and maybe I can just as a side note say that if people are interested to read more about this case and the cases that are being made, they should visit the Euthanasia Exposed website, euthanasiaexposed.co.za. My affidavit is there, as well as all the relevant judgments and affidavits relating to the case. But one of the critical things that Strachan-Ford said was that he felt that there was no dignity in, and he named a few he named a few things. No dignity in having pain, severe pain all over one's body, being dulled with opiate medication, being unaware of your surroundings, being confused, being unable to care for your own hygiene, and a few other things that I think he felt he might experience through his dying process.
Can I just ask you, Dr. Donkin, are you disputing that definition of a lack of dignity?
I think I would make a call to explore a little bit more about what the word dignity means. I think, it can be pulled apart a little bit, and it can be abused. For example, the pro-euthanasia lobby group Dying with Dignity uses that word in their name. But I think what they really mean is dying with autonomy. And it's a bit unclear as to what the word dignity really means. So I would say that you cannot say that somebody who is confused has no dignity. I think that would go against the meaning that is intended in the Constitution if we say that all people have the right to dignity. I think the intention is to say that no matter what race or color or age or level of disability you might have, like being confused, you are considered special and have the right to be valued as a human being, the same as everybody else.
But surely that aspect of the definition of dignity is defined within a wider context of the person's overall suffering.
Sorry, I missed your question there.
I'm just saying the issue in particular of the confusion resulting from constantly being under the influence of drugs is surely that's to be read within the context of someone who is terminally ill and not simply taken out of context and understood to mean, well, if someone is confused, it means they have the right to die.
Well, I mean, I have a number of terminally ill patients with dementia who are elderly and have not very long to live, and they are confused. But I would say that they have human dignity, and I don't think that having cancer would then suddenly mean you don't have human dignity. So my call is to look into the use of that word, because I think it can be used in an emotive sense. But in fact, what Strachan-Ford was saying is that he believes there are certain states of being as a human that are undignified. Should we really say that certain states of being human are undignified?
Can I just ask you as a final question, because we are running out of time, Dr. Donkin, I understand that you're approaching this very much from a legal point of view, but from the point of view of empathy, do you feel you're in a position to be able to understand the plight of someone who finds themselves in this situation and simply no longer wants to live?
Well, it's a very pertinent question, because in answering my affidavit, Judge Fabricius, I think, glanced over the topic, and his response was to say that he felt shocked by some of my thoughts. And then he went on to say that he wonders if I have ever looked after a patient who's terminally ill. And the answer is yes. I've looked after a good number of people who are terminally ill and in stages of dying as a general practitioner. And it's always a very special, deep, intimate relationship that you develop with such a person if you've known them and look after them during their dying stages. And so the short answer is yes to that.
But to be fair, by definition, that's sympathy rather than empathy. I'm sure you can say, although you cared for those people and looked after them, that you didn't really experience their subjectivity in that moment.
I think there's a way that you can enter into the experience of your patient, similar as you might enter into that experience a little bit with a family member and feel quite deeply about what's going on. I wouldn't belittle it and push it to the side and say that it's just sympathy. No, I wouldn't say that.
Thank you so much for talking to us this evening. Dr. Alan Donkin from Euthanasia Exposed. Now, an afternoon news continues.